Uh, Good afternoon, guys. It is the afternoon. It is Monday, March 30th, and it is about 1:40, approximately 1:45 p.m. I missed a couple days. I did. I consciously did because, well, Saturday I was just a little exhausted on like looking at politics and news around the world. And stuff gets exhausting, um, and talking about it and the kind of stress that it kind of brings upon you. I know it's not just me; it's people in general. I mean, when you read the news and you hear about this disease and things that go on, you're like you start to worry. Um, so yeah, that hit on Sunday or Saturday. I didn't really make a video of that. Sunday was kind of just my unplugged day, so to speak. Not that I, not that I've been plugged. Well, actually, I've more or less been plugged in. Sunday, I just I try to stay away from social media. I mostly stayed indoors. Like, well, I didn't go on my walk. Um, Today, however, I did go on my walk pretty early. Actually, a little more details on the walk. I say it's a long walk, and well, I'll let you decide whether or not it's long. But basically, I do a lap throughout Greater San Ysidro, Lower San Ysidro. I don't know. I forgot the term that's before, but it's about 5.5 miles, and I do it in about 2 hours. Today, I got it under 2 hours because the streets were so empty. I didn't want to wait for their crosswalk, so I just ran across the street. Whatever. That is becoming a good thing. Woke up a nice, not like a sweat at the gym, but enough to where I'm like, sweat from a walk, not bad. Uh, I guess could say, well, why don't you go run? Well, if I'm trying to save money because I'm not working, if I run too much, which I want to walk every day, so if I run every day, it's not exactly a great thing because the more calories I burn, the more I need to eat. So I need to kind of strike a balance there. I think I'll stick to walks. I've been contemplating doing lunges in the park out back. There's a small lap there, maybe just lunge lap, walk lap, jog lap. I don't know, something. We'll see. Still haven't touched the bike, so that's that. Oh, no haircut yet. It's actually doing pretty good. My hats have been saving me. I don't have to worry about it. I do have to do initial spray and comb, so it's not terrible, but not bad. I guess it's more of a personal comfort thing. What else have I got lined up for you? Just getting you guys caught up from the past couple of days. I've been listening to a lot of the Weekend album on my walks, so sorry about the light. Um, I'm coming along better to the album. It's catching on, so I think I compared it last time After Hours. I compared it last time to Starboy, while Starboy has kind of like a futuresque kind of techno feel upbeat. After Hours, I think I mentioned before, the slower tempo. It's still kind of got a slight electronic feel, like sound to it, but it's more in the 80s. And the more I listen to it, the more I kind of dig it. Because also, the more I listen to it, the more I feel like I should be like in Stranger Things or something. I should be like walking around town. And it should, yeah. If you guys seen Stranger Things, I feel like After Hours could be a soundtrack to Stranger Things. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but that's a feeling, just impressionistically wise. Um, some of the better songs start after Blinding Lights. Blinding Lights and the two songs after that, to me, are one of the best. Are some of the better ones on the album. The whole thing is not bad per se. It's okay. So if I had to rank the Weekend albums, I would put Starboy on top. After Hours next to that. Close, nipping at the heels is Beauty Behind the Madness, then Kissland, then the trilogy. Um, I've asked around to some of my friends. Christian, I don't know if he watches, but he's a really big music enthusiast. He really loves the album. I can see why. There's another friend of mine who asked about it that we talked about Weekend. We discussed Weekend a lot in the past, and he's like, yeah, he didn't exactly. The album wasn't what he thought it would be. That's kind of what I had in the beginning, and he more or less didn't feel the '80s thing, but he's also a bit younger, so that person, sorry, that person didn't like relate to the '80s. Well, trust me, I relate to the '80s all right. If I had to grade it now, A minus, B plus, it's on the cusp. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Um, Sunday I pretty much played Fallout 4 all day, which is kind of nice. It's cool. Just I mean, for guys who play video games, it's kind of nice to just zone out and play video games. Um, but there are a couple things that need to be updated. At least I feel like I should talk about as far as things going on in the United States and a little bit of the conditions going on in the world, so to speak. Um, so one, there was news that Prince Charles was he tested positive for COVID-19, and this is kind of peculiar because it raised a slight issue as to. Well, first off, I'll say that this point that I'm about to make is not a point that I'm particularly fond of. But as someone who's a polemic, you got to consider arguments to, for, or neutral if they rather affect these things. So the thing about the Prince Charles testing positive is it's a bit on the gray area. One, he's more of a public figure in Great Britain, and he does go to a lot of public contexts, and that's probably where he could have gotten it. But it all, from what I've read, they swear. I mean, not swear, but like they claim that he's really kept his distance from people. He's really practiced these things because, of course, he's older. His mom, the queen, is even older than him, and they're high on the high risk list. And so this raises the concept of what if COVID-19 was around prior to this whole kind of pandemic stage, but people just didn't realize it. So it's the idea of it has been around. People have just been getting this really bad flu, and they've been recovering, and they didn't realize it was COVID-19 yet. I mean, people are, in other contexts, people like to raise the fact that thousands of people die from the flu every year, but yet no one's really scared of that. Well, what if a lot of those flus were actually from COVID-19? Now, this kind of swings both ways because, at one point, you could argue that this pandemic thing is even worse. We just haven't been looking for it, and we've been more or less ignoring it. Or two, if it has been going on that long, then technically the fear isn't as bad because it was. I mean, there's two ways to kind of slice it, and I'm not fond of it, but I'm grasping with the idea of that. It's yeah, I'll let that sink in. Okay, that's kind of international scale as far as the virus. Nationally, things that are going on is United States Congress recently passed a stimulus package. I want to quote that term, stimulus package, without getting too much into politics. Congress is forking over about $2 trillion, which a majority of which will go to big and small businesses, while people who make under $150,000 a year, it's a staggered system. This is something that I was probably argued by the Democrats that if you make under $75,000 a year per adult, you're gonna get about $1,200 in a check, and then for every kid you get $600 or $500. So me, although I live with my dad, I'd probably get about $1,200. There's no kids here, so no whatever. But a family of four, hypothetically, would get, the mom, dad, two kids, so four, two 12s and 1,000. So what? 3,400. And as far as we know, that's a one-time thing for 2 weeks, allegedly 3 weeks, apparently. Obviously, if it goes on for more than a month, that kind of deteriorates pretty quickly. But economically, I want to go back to that $2 trillion thing for a second. That economically, that will, once it gets into the banks and stuff, that will expand to about $4 trillion. And yeah, I want to pause on the politics on that one. I'll just say that's what's about to roll out. So I kind of look forward to that because I don't have any income whatsoever at the moment. Oh, and then this is me as a personal projection as someone who kind of reads the politics here in this country, is there's something called herd immunity. It's a concept as far as when kind of discussing pandemics and viruses. Herd immunity is more or less the natural kind of playing out of events of viruses. So, say for example, I'm just going to make up some abstract numbers. Say you have 1,000 people in an area, a town, or something, and then a virus comes along and they kind of it sweeps through when it has its kill rate or whatever, and then whoever's left over, let's assume optimistically it's half, then that half who survived would have some sort of immunity to it, claiming a sort of herd immunity, kind of like chickenpox or measles. You get it once, you're not exactly going to get it again. This, of course, kind of varies from case to case. For example, chickenpox. You can get chickenpox as a kid if you're not vaccinated. You're immune to chickenpox. You won't get it as bad as you did before, but you can get a kind of relapsing of the chickenpox called the shingles, which I have gotten, by the way. And there's even like a third thing of that too, which I haven't looked too much into it. I just thought that was pretty fascinating. I mean, I even heard that it's even weaker than shingles, and that's something else. Now that kind of raises the debate because I anticipate that this concept of herd immunity, or basically slightly giving up on preventing the population from being quarantined, saved by any means, that this I don't know think about it, but this concept would be polemic in the sense that COVID-19 will be allowed to kind of sweep through the country and let things naturally play out. And people will be immune to it, allegedly. Now, I say that allegedly because, again, every disease has its uniqueness. There's no promise against that. And I've actually already heard a couple things how people in China are kind of relapsing again into COVID-19, but with different symptoms and dying from different causes. That's one thing. But abstractly, this idea of herd community is that if you let this go by and just take its course, nature, if you will naturally, nature will play its role. Things will roll its course, and you'll have a population that no longer has to worry about COVID-19. Which, yeah, there's a lot of implications behind that, and I'll leave that alone. Gotta wrap this up real quick. Gotta head out in about 5 minutes to binge watch more Game of Thrones with your girlfriend. So, what else have I got for you guys? Oh, stuff for the future, like future video content. I don't know. I thought about talking about Fallout. I love the Fallout games. I could get into that pretty bad. Not pretty bad, but like pretty in depth, like pretty nuts. At least it's not politics, right? I mean, whatever. I could do more of an auto bio, which I thought about. Discuss kind of my experiences as I've out of high school, because I think that's where a lot of changes for me, a lot of lessons learned. The me out of high school versus the me now, yeah, it's kind of a big thing, and it's been only 10 years. Anyways, maybe a video tomorrow, maybe not. See you guys later.